I'm Nyesha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Welcome to another segment of the Grassroots Business Journal. We're talking small business, links to social media. I am your host, Paul Wilusz. Today, as my guest, I have the Deputy Executive Director of HeadCO, Fernando Rosa. Pleasure to have you today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent. The last time that we were talking, we had a little bit of a background about what HeadCO is really all about. And part of what I found intriguing is that one of the mission statements that you have is to serve the underserved business community. What does that mean? And what can small business get from that?
Well, what it means is many of the small business, specifically in the ethnic and minority areas, are very much underserved on the capital basis and on the technical assistance base. HeadCO is created to deal with a lot of the issues of the small business, and specifically dealing with the urban centers. As we discussed, we want to concentrate most of our activity in the urban centers, where the difficulties to get capital or to get assistance are probably higher than any other area. And we want to make sure that the minority business, the ethnic business, have an opportunity to succeed. By having an opportunity to succeed simply means that we review their business plan, we take a look at what their needs are, and then try to find a solution for that particular needs. My office works from the philosophy that says, how do I help you? How do I find a solution to help you? Not how do I deny your loan. I mean, my philosophy of life is probably much different than the banks, because I'm regulated by different rules, different items that are part of our day-to-day operations. You know, the banks are very well regulated. They have different rules that we do not have. They have different capitals that we do not have. So in my office, we look at the opportunity and say, okay, this is another opportunity to help a number of small business. How do we go about it? How do we do it? How do we come up with a plan that meets their needs and at the same time gives me the ability to recoup the capital that I invest into this business? I make loans. I have a revolving loan fund. Revolving simply means when I lend it on year number one, I expect to get some payments back on year number two, so that on year number three I could relend it to some of the other businesses that are coming through the door. Okay. We don't get financing on a regular basis from our different sources, so we need to making sure that the decisions that we are making are prudent decisions, but we also understand that we're in a very high risk type of business. The underserved, the community, are those that nobody wants, nobody really serves. Number one, because they don't want to, because they're too small. Number two, because they're very high risk. Number three, because they might have some issues with collateral or credits. Those all fall under the underserved business that we have.
Okay. What is the importance of having partnerships and relationships that you have with different organizations, whether it be local, state, or federal? What's the importance of those relationships?
Oh, they're tremendous. I mean, the relationship, making sure that you don't reinvent the wheel and waste all of your energy and resource trying to do different things. The other thing is your partners and your peers, making sure that they keep you posted on items that happen in that particular community or in that particular state or in that particular agency. So we have an ongoing conversation. They say, look, this part of the state here needs attention here because of this. This part needs attention for some other reason. You know, a state as small as Connecticut, not all the needs are the same in every different place. So we need to exactly figure out what Hartford needs, what New Britain needs. You know, New Britain's needs are different. They're still part of the manufacturing cycle of Central Connecticut. You know, so there is different needs. Partnerships to us are tremendous. We always were based on partnerships. Originally, when HeadCO was put together, was a partnership of the largest business, larger corporations, and the city of Hartford. Right now, is a partnership between the city of Hartford, the state, you know, the nonprofit organization. So it. Number one, it provides us resources, not only with capital, but also with people. And it also provides us ideas and knowledge.
Okay. How is I also see that the Connecticut Minority Bonding Program. What's that program about, and how does that affect small business?
The bonding program is managed and run by our Business Resource Center. Okay. And what it does, it provides a bonding process for contractors that are bidding on the job. Okay. We create the bonding program to assist the smaller and minority contractors be able to bid on jobs. As Hartford was going through a number of schools, rehabilitation, and school-related jobs, we wanted to make sure that we have competent and able and willing contractors that could participate. Many of them found the barrier, said, well, we can't participate because we don't have working capital. Okay, we're going to figure out a working capital. We already have the component of finding working capital or a credit line. Well, I'm able to do the job, but now I cannot get the bonding. Well, through a partnership with the state and Travelers, the Business Resource Center was able to develop a bonding program, not only to assist the contractors, but also to provide them with some back office information. That could be a good segment for you to have another event on a program with Kim Hawkins, because she will develop the whole bonding program. Okay. She's in charge of the Business Resource Center. And the bonding program really has brought a number of contractors on different contracts that might not be able to get before. In addition to the schools, you have the MDC that we discussed at last segment and all their work that they're doing. Okay. Well, we're also trying to bring bonding contractors into those jobs. And it's difficult. It's a challenge. Okay. I mean, it's not something that could be done overnight, but it's definitely another tool on the box for the small business for them to say, okay, I have now my credit lines, I have my bond, I could go out and try to compete for this job and keep the jobs in the city.
Okay. And I thank you for the invitation to invite, and by all means, tell her that she's more than, would love to have her on the program itself.
I will relay the information to her.
Excellent, excellent. Another question I want to maybe throw out to our audience, and that is that we've seen some facelifts as far as businesses, types of businesses, and I'm kind of like focusing more in on the North End Plaza by Sand School. You have that one. You also have the off of Flatbush Avenue, where you have the Walmart. And you also have off of Park Street. How are those businesses helping to develop and bring in people to the neighborhoods?
Well, you know, those you're talking about were major changes to the city. You know, the Walmart Plaza was originally residential space that was pre-developed, brought in a whole new tenant, box store, create jobs. It also reused the space that was there. It was a major project that took many years to rechange the neighborhood, going totally from the housing aspect, then to carve some of the housing and put some of that space into commercial space. And then redo the entire space as commercial. I think it has been beneficial. Obviously, when you're bringing business into the town, it has beneficial. It has created jobs. It has used the commercial space. It has now forced the re-entrance to the Connecticut Fast on Flatbush Avenue to be redesigned so that it could accommodate the entire plaza. So every time that you re-changing the neighborhood, you bring, it's a major challenge. And many times we start off with plan A, and you always not necessarily end up with plan A. You end up with A plus B minus C to making sure that you readjust to what you need. In the process of doing that, you also readjust all of the how you getting to that particular business. The entrance to the highways, the widening of the streets. So it's a total partnership with a lot of the people that you're bringing together when you're developing such a major space. And I think it has been positive. It has been very positive.
Excellent, excellent. Can you just briefly explain a little bit about the loan process?
Sure.
That your office
loan
does?
Process is usually the easiest part. The hardest part is to get to the loan process. So in the loan process, you need to making sure that you understand what you're trying to do. If you're a new business, you're starting off with an idea, say, okay, this is what I want to do. Well, make sure you start writing what you want to do, then refine it and understand your product. If you're going to be in the bakery business, you need to make sure that you understand flour and ovens and that process, and that you need to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and so you need to understand the process. I usually tell people, say, look, don't go into a business that you don't know anything about it. You're not going to make it. But develop your knowledge. If you want to get into a business, develop some knowledge either by working in the business, do your research, develop your business plan. Once you develop your business plan, it has several components of the business plan. It has the product, then the costs, and then the working capital portion. Those bring you, the two last parts bring you into the loan process. Mm-hmm. But for the new business, the short and long-term business plan is critical. I mean, it's critical for them to know where they're going, for them to know the cost, for the individuals to know exactly what to expect. And then they said, okay, this is my plan. How do I accomplish my plan? I have X amount of dollars to put into, and I need the X amount of money. Once the entire process of the business plan is put together, including the financials, the projections, the collateralization, then it goes into the business plan. Then it becomes a purely underwriting decision. Okay, we'll look at the decision and say, okay, the business plan makes sense. We could do this. I think that the individual has the capability of doing this. We believe in him, and let's go on forward and figure out a way to get him the money that he or she needs to get to the next level. The question is when you have too many holes in that business plan, when you have not fully developed the business plan, when you not have developed the knowledge of the product, your cost, your projections, then that makes it a little bit longer in the process. But you go in and you do your business plan, and the job of the individual is to convince the counselor as well as the loan underwriter too that the business is viable.
It's viable.
I make a decision to help the business, but I also make a decision say, okay, what are my expectations of getting repaid?
Okay.
There is different programs that we could get into, other programs in the future. The state has programs to the Connecticut Express and other economic development programs that will also provide grants. Okay. But from our own funds, we kind of just lend it, and we tailor the business loan to the individual so that he could succeed. I want to give him a running start to succeed.
We're coming to the end of 2013. How do you see 2014 for the small business?
Still challenging. It's still not as easy as we thought it was going to be. When 2012 was over and when 2013, we thought it was going to be an easier route. 2013 was a fascinating year for us. We were extremely busy. We did 94 loans, over $7 million. And 2014 is, I think, still a challenge. There is a lot of still soft sand out there. There's the economy is what I call confused. It goes and then stops and then goes again. It's not on a level plane. It's not really moving steady. Okay. So you still have too many issues with the federal budget, with the state budget, with the deficits. And a lot of this business depends on disposable income. So all the cuts are good to balance the budget. But then when you get to the bottom line, most of the small business get whatever is left over. And if there is nothing left over, there's a challenge. And I see 14, I see it as a positive, but I also see it still as very much as a challenge it was.
Still as a challenge. So I would challenge our listeners and our audience that if you have a business plan, bring it on in. And Fernando, where the contact information, how would that person get in contact with HeadCO?
The office is located at 15 Lewis Street in downtown Hartford. It's room 204 and in Hartford, Connecticut. And our number is 860-527-1301. The resource center is 527-1100.
Excellent. Again, excellent program, Fernando. It's been a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. And again, you've been watching and listening to the Grassroots Business Journal. I've been your host, Paul Wilusz. Again, Our guest today has been Fernando Rosa, Deputy Executive Director of HeadCO. So again, until next time, keep talking business, and we'll see you again.